We have all been told that reading a book, any book, is the ultimate habit for a healthy mind. The popular assumption is that if you put down your phone and pick up some pages, you are automatically getting smarter. But cognitive science tells a different story. The specific format of the text you choose dictates exactly how your brain processes information and interacts with reality. Fiction certainly has documented merits. When you dive into a novel, your brain treats the story as a low-risk simulation of the social world, allowing you to practice empathy and experience complex emotions safely. However, relying exclusively on those made-up simulations introduces cognitive vulnerabilities that society widely ignores when we praise the act of reading as a single, uniform good. To defend against modern misinformation and build true cognitive resilience, we need a different mechanism. Expository nonfiction acts as a reality engine, grounding the mind in objective facts and empirical systems. Treating a fantasy novel and a historical biography as equal intellectual workouts leaves our minds exposed. If we want to actually grow, we have to recognize how these formats diverge. Narrative fiction operates on a cognitive mode we can call make-believe. It asks you to suspend your disbelief, deliberately decoupling your brain from physical reality to prioritize a smooth, compelling story over objective truth. This detachment creates a structural flaw that neuroscientists call a source monitoring error. That occurs when your brain remembers a specific fact or belief, but completely forgets where that information originated. When you are deeply immersed in a novel, your guard is down. You are highly vulnerable to absorbing a fictional premise, storing it away, and later recalling it as a verified real-world fact simply because it felt true in the moment. This document shows a meta-analysis on the cognitive effects of reading fiction. While the data points to small-scale benefits in verbal ability and mentalizing, the results are highly ambiguous when it comes to acquiring actual, applicable knowledge. That temporary suspension of disbelief, the exact thing that makes a novel enjoyable, can inadvertently install permanent blind spots in our understanding of how the physical world operates. Defenders of fiction usually point to one primary benefit: empathy. The logic is that feeling what imaginary characters feel makes us better, more compassionate people in reality. Cautionary. But there is a psychological trap here known as moral licensing. When you feel intense sympathy for a character suffering in a book, your brain processes that emotion as an achievement. It provides a psychological shortcut, satisfying your internal drive to be a caring person, entirely within a safe, simulated environment. The result is that this simulated empathy can actually decrease your motivation to engage in costly, real-world pro-social behavior. You have already checked the box in your head without having to do the hard work of helping an actual human being. Substituting real-world social engagement with imaginary relationships diminishes our active participation in society. Nonfiction operates on a completely different cognitive mechanism: belief. Instead of asking you to suspend your critical faculties, it demands that you evaluate arguments, verify sources, and engage directly with the truth. This direct engagement constructs what psychologists call factual schemas. Think of a schema as a declarative mental database, a structural scaffolding in your brain that categorizes and processes new information. This animation shows a factual schema taking shape. As you read high-quality informational texts, isolated facts connect into a rigid, structured network. This gives you the capacity to comprehend abstract concepts and complex systems far better than standard narrative vocabulary can. Once that scaffolding is in place, it becomes a powerful tool for cross-disciplinary problem-solving. By reading outside your immediate field, you can pull a tested solution from one domain and apply it directly to a challenge in another. This chart highlights the pragmatic value of that process. Nearly 3/4 of adults who regularly read nonfiction report doing so specifically to acquire actionable knowledge and adapt these tools for their careers. While fiction offers a pleasant playground to entertain the mind, nonfiction actively constructs the cognitive architecture required for professional mastery and real-world adaptability. Today, we are navigating a digital flood of fake news, cognitive manipulation, and societal disconnect. The cost of being uninformed is extraordinarily high. Did deductive reasoning and source verification skills honed by reading nonfiction act as a direct cognitive shield against this threat? It trains the brain to systematically question evidence rather than casually accepting a plausible story. This photo illustrates what that looks like in practice. Individuals who actively research real-world complexities are significantly better equipped to parse high-stakes data and make informed decisions during a crisis, like a global pandemic. Cultivating high informational literacy is a vital civic duty required to maintain a functioning, informed democracy. This requires a deliberate shift in how we choose our reading material. If fiction is a playground for the mind, nonfiction is the gym, the place where the actual resistance training happens. You do not have to give up compelling narratives to get there. This historical portrait of Anne Frank reminds us that memoirs and biographies carry undeniable emotional weight, offering psychological insights deeply grounded in reality. Reading about real people overcoming physical odds provides actionable blueprints for resilience, rather than just a fleeting sense of emotional catharsis. The most valuable texts sitting on your shelf do not offer a comfortable escape from reality. They provide the precise tools necessary to conquer it. True cognitive resilience is earned. It comes only when we choose to step out of our comfortable simulations, face the physical facts, and engage directly with the complex truth of the real world.